Hello, I'm Richard Ackroyd. I'm chair of Frome's Missing Links, and I'm going to take you on a short walk on our new stretch of path. You might recognise the Collier's Way just down there. It finishes at Buckland Bridge, and we've got a new section. It's not finished, but you can walk it, and if you're brave you can mountain bike it or whatever you want to do, but it is open to the public. We're here on this new section. The red arrow, the red line there shows 1.3 kilometres. Let's take a look at it. So, this is the old track bed, which was the GWR line, which went all the way to Radstock once upon a time and used to head all the way into Frome. It's not used at the moment. It joins up with the current quarry line from Watley Quarry at the moment, but we've now got this open for you to use. You can see lots of remnants of old railways, concrete sleepers, actual bits of rail, and all this was laid as track, and it's all been lifted by Frome volunteers. And it's taken quite a few years to get to this stage. Several tons of steel has been lifted, several more tons of concrete has been lifted, and a whole lot of ballast, thousands of tons of ballast has been moved around to make this a possibility. Come with me. So we've got Tom and Malcolm here working hard, put them to work. They're not being paid, it's all voluntary, part of the Friday group. And what they're doing is lifting these things. They're called chairs, and they used to hold the rails. They weigh 20 kilograms each. And the reason we're lifting them off and keeping all the nuts and bolts is because we're selling the scrap. So the scrap is worth quite a bit of money to us, so we're actually fundraising through doing that. Follow me. Okay, the track bed is made up of what's called railway ballast. It's all this very heavy rocky stuff, and we've been slowly moving that. There's about half a metre of ballast below me where I'm standing, but only about half of a metre, quarter of a metre below there. And we've been essentially scraping it off and reusing it further down the path and widening everything, smoothing things off, rolling things off. We've still got about another 500-600 tons to lift on that section there, so there's another 250 metres to clear this. So part of our fundraising is to get this cleared so that we can put a proper path on all of this. So Chris, another one of our volunteers, busy at work cutting back the hedges, because once we've created this thing, of course, nature wants to keep reclaiming it. Yeah. We're very happy for that, but we need to keep the middle bit free for this path. So it's a constant. Every month or so we have to keep this clear. So there's lots of work to be done for volunteers if you're thinking of becoming a volunteer. It's fun. Of course, join the path from the steps at the end of the Collier's Way, which is very nice. If you've got a bicycle, there's a guide rail, as you can see, made out of an old railway line. And this was all built by volunteers using scrap materials from the railway. Keep going. I'm now sat on a picnic bench made out of, interestingly enough, old railway sleepers, all bolted together, so all perfectly safe. We're on top of what's known as Buckland Bridge. You'll notice safety rails on the top of the bridge. They were all done by volunteers. We get lots of wildlife here. In fact, we get sand lizards and things like that here. It's very common as you're eating your lunch to see those little tiny critters running around. We did some surveys. Survey work, we've got grass snakes, all sorts of wildlife. Just point out that we've planted hundreds of trees along this route as well. Here the last little lot, they're doing very well. It looks like a hazel, not quite sure what that is, but another hazel, dogwood. We've got a whole variety of things here, and Andrew and people like him keep the grass nice and tidy for them so they don't drown. He's an expert scyther, so it's all ecological and as good as we can make it. But anyway, lots and lots of wildlife. Okay, we're on what we call the access road. So the access road, we had to create this in order to get heavy machinery up here to create the rest of the path. But it's another interesting little ride or walk down towards Buckland Dinham and so on. Lovely little addition, and another good 200-300 metres of path. You'll see that we've had to chop down, well you might not notice, but we've had to chop down a lot of ash. Unfortunately, it's taken a lot of effort to do that, but they're all dying. Ash die back and the branches just fall down on the path, so we've had to remove an awful lot of those, unfortunately. What that does mean is lovely trees like this behind me, which is an oak, can really grow to their full height, and we've got quite a lot of oak trees along this stretch of path. Brilliant. This is Colin, one of our volunteers, big expert on nature and everything, and sadly here's some of the ash trees that we've had to fell. They're not very old, some of them were very old, but we just had to take them all down. They get this fungus on the edge and branches just fall down. It's a real shame. We had to do it. So we're still on the old railway line, the old GWR railway line. For those of you who know, this is the quarry line into Whatley, and just over there is the tunnel that goes underneath into Whatley Quarry. In order to be able to take this part of the path forward, we had to get a license from Network Rail and put up this weld mesh fencing. So that we had to do that in 5 days with Network Rail supervision. So there's, I can't remember exactly, but there's £15,000 worth of kit here and manpower and everything else. So at least £15,000 just to put up a fence so that we're separated from the railway. On the other side, we've got some lovely planting going on. We've got wildflower seeds that have been sown. We've got a picnic area up here, more trees at the back. And this is starting to look really nice. Behind you, one of the nice picnic areas that we're creating. We're hoping that this will eventually be a bit more grassy than it is at the moment, but we've created, just in the process of finishing this off, it's another one of the picnic benches. We've also got a bike rack, which is in the shape of a penny farthing, courtesy of Mendip District Council. We've got 3 of those along our route, so all good stuff. And if we walk over here, there's a potential, well, there's an alternative path for people who are walking down there. It's a beautiful little walk through the woods and takes you back to the other end of the path. And down here we got some steps, which again all made out of waste materials, concrete drainage covers and so on. Okay, naughty horsey people. You are allowed on here and we're very happy for you to come on here, but sometimes you leave your mark. It's not very nice. Anyway, over here we've got this lovely bank which is growing all sorts of really lovely wildlife. You start to see now why we need a proper surface, because this stuff is loose, it's fine to walk on, it's not very nice to ride a bike on. Not particularly nice to ride a horse on either, I don't think. So at this point, we leave the old railway track bed and we start on our new bit, which runs alongside the live line. We didn't have room to keep going that way, so we've had to create this from scratch. Follow me. Just showing you this bit, there's various things you can look at. Fencing, all put in by us. This obviously was the old boundary of the field there. We've taken a 4 metre strip. We had to move various things like this water tank has had to move and the pipeline to it. Old access points onto the railway we've had to negotiate and block off and allow various things to happen. And I think it's worthwhile. In the end, you know, we are really appreciative of all the landowners, everybody who's helped us do this. You know, it makes all the difference. And actually, what a view that you would never have seen before. There's a fantastic view across to Buckland Dinham, the old colliery in the distance. It's just a really magic little valley that we're in. So here we are at Elliott's Lane, the end of 1.3 kilometres, almost a mile of new path. It's a beautiful little walk and it'll be a fantastic ride once we get some decent surface on it. So that's our appeal, that's what we want to do. That's our next target, immediate target, is to find some money to do this. We are unfortunately looking at a 6-figure sum, so if you can help, that would be lovely. But just look what we've been able to do with this area already. We've actually created a nice picnic area again down here, put some more trees down along, we've repaired a wall, we've made access points, and this is another mile towards Frome. And thanks to everybody who's helped. You know, makes it look easy, but it's not. So thank you everybody in whatever capacity. Thanks for joining in, and thanks for putting up with me on a video. It's not easy, I know. Thank you. And you can donate via our special QR code, which takes you straight to Missing Links page, and it gives you the opportunity to give your hard-earned cash to us. So there's the QR code. Let's see your money.